Hello again and welcome to my podcast. This is my second podcast and my name is Christian Bartsch and I'm giving you a live podcast here from Germany. It's nice time. And so what's the topic for today? It's too good to be true. So many of us, when we hear something that sounds really interesting and exciting, we want to have it. Whether it's the Bitcoin stuff or all these other kind of things or trading. And it always depends very much how the stuff is built and designed. But one thing for true is, if you want to really multiply your income and as well find a way to really create value for your own portfolio, you have to think about how am I going to get this running in a proper, sensible way. So, what do I do? Just an example. When I was a student, or let's say I went to college, I started first investing my money into funds. And then I started trading shares on the stock exchange. So after school, after doing all my homework, I used to go and fill shelves and make some extra money. I even paid my own driving license training. In Germany, you have to do training with a proper teacher. You can't drive with your parents and learn car driving. You have to take a proper driving school. So that costs quite a lot of money, and that's why I made my own money by filling shelves, and month by month I did that. That way I created an income as a student. And in this way as well, I started reinvesting the money. I didn't go and spend the money on crazy stuff, but actually started investing it. And the interesting thing is, at that time, most of my fellow students weren't doing that. They were just spending the money, buying stuff, buying cars and all sorts of other stuff, and I didn't. I reinvested my money and eventually build up quite a nice little portfolio that I could use and I could have for myself as a backup for the future. And later on, I made quite some good deals. One day I decided to make a really good trading. Was a risk, it was definitely a risk, but it returned me a really full 100% return on investment 4 months later. And with that money, I paid myself, I bought my own brand new car the way I wanted. And that was quite a big jump when you think of it, that half of the car was actually paid from the profits I made on the stock exchange, which was really cool at that time. Nowadays, everything is more complicated. We have so many regulations, so many more tax things, and all this and that. But nevertheless, coming to the point means if it's too easy to be true, then you should have a problem in your mind and think, do I want to invest in that or not? And just an example, the trading, I didn't just go and play blackjack on the stock market. Every day I went and checked in these old-fashioned systems, all the different tradings. I had a sheet of paper where I used to write down every day the different shares that I had in mind, what the prices were going up and down every day. I did that twice a day, and then I made my decision. I informed myself about the different companies that I wanted to buy, and when I was sure it would be a good idea, I bought. And every time I made profit. I think very few times I didn't make profit, but that was mostly through the financial crisis that came through the entire globe. That cost me a lot of money, but otherwise I was able to multiply the money step by step. And that's something where you have to think, how do you have to do that? Whatever you're doing, you have to take effort, time, educate yourself and learn how to do these things. It doesn't just come by itself. It doesn't go just like a magic trick and it happens. You have to put the work in. And that's the core thing. People are trying to become super rich at a very high pace, and in the end they lose the entire money. The same thing with all the Bitcoin scams and all different kinds of stuff that's going on. At the same time, it doesn't mean that certain investments that are high risk are going to be bad. Sometimes you have to have a patience and wait until you've got it done. And once you've done it and the time is ripe, you are able to get the profits from it. So take in mind, you can't always be thinking that you're going to have a shortcut to become rich. You have to educate yourself, do your work, be focused, and get done. That concludes this podcast. See you soon in my next podcast.